Hey, it's Justin Morrison here again, and today I'm reviewing the Fujifilm X-T30 on behalf of BestBuy.ca. The Fujifilm X-T30 is the latest camera from one of my favorite camera manufacturers, Fujifilm. I have to be honest straight off the bat, I just love Fujifilm cameras. They look great, they take amazing images. Fujifilm has consistently pushed the boundaries in terms of what we can expect from a mirrorless camera, and with the X-T30 they have taken things a step further than I think any of us could have expected just a few years ago. The X-T30 is a 26 megapixel CMOS sensor camera. So it's smaller than a full frame camera, it's bigger than a Micro Four Thirds from the likes of Olympus and Panasonic. I've always loved the images that Fujifilm sensors produce. I think the color rendition is amazing, sharpness, clarity, always top notch. But with the X-T30, Fujifilm has really taken things to another level. This is a camera with a feature set that is somewhat surprising, you might say, considering, you know, how relatively new the mirrorless camera is. But nonetheless, it's a spectacular camera. This camera can shoot up to 30 frames per second. It can shoot continuous with the live view LCD screen on, and without blackout. So you get a continuous view of what you're shooting from the LCD monitor while you're shooting up to 30 frames per second. While it's shooting in continuous mode, it can also offer autofocus tracking and auto exposure. As you can see, true to form with a Fujifilm camera, it looks beautiful. It's not just an incredibly high functioning camera, it's also a beautiful camera to hold. I reviewed another camera recently by a rival manufacturer. I'm not going to mention any names, but I did say in that review that I found the camera hard to love. There was nothing warm about it. There was nothing that gave me a fuzzy feeling in my tummy. But with the X-T30, it's all about the warm fuzzies. I think this is probably the cutest camera I've ever held. It's sleek, it's stylish, it's everything a camera purist is going to want in a camera. It reminds you of the fact that you are making photography. You're not just taking pictures, you are making photography when you use a Fujifilm camera. You have these wonderful dials on the top of the camera. You have, with the X-T30, just the shutter speed dial. Now the cool thing about the X-T30 and the lens that it came with, which is this 18 to 55mm f2.8 to 4 image stabilized lens. The cool thing is that you can control the aperture right here on the barrel of the lens. Nobody else is doing this to my knowledge, and it is a brilliant feature. Now, yes, you've got three different things to control on the lens now. So you've got the zoom, you've got the focus if you're manual focusing, and you've also got the aperture. But with a bit of practice, you're not going to, get these things confused. And you also have the option to switch to automatic aperture if that's your preference. The X-T30 has this flip out LCD screen. It is also a touchscreen, and it allows you to pick your autofocus point just by tapping the back of the screen. You can also shoot images just by tapping the back of the screen. You can also control, you can't control the main menus, but you can control what's called the quick menu. So you have a Q button here, and when you tap that, you get a selection of items that you can change. You can control that via the LCD screen, which is pretty cool. The other thing you can use the touchscreen for is when you're reviewing images, you can zoom in on them using sort of a two-finger gesture, and you can also swipe left and right to move through your images. Pretty good use of the touchscreen. I would prefer if you could use all of the menus via the touchscreen, but Fujifilm's done a pretty good job here. Another feature of the X-T30 is this pop-up flash. How cool is that? Now that doesn't get old, does it? In terms of card slots, you just have the one card slot with the X-T30, not the dual card slots, which you get with a number of other cameras. One of the things that sort of disappoint me is the fact that you have to access the card slot via the bottom of the camera. At one point I was shooting a review video with the X-T30 and I realized that I had to remove the base plate that I used to mount the camera on my tripod. I had to remove it in order to access the card, which was a bit of a nuisance. I'd much rather if I could access this card via the side of the camera, but that's unfortunately what Fujifilm has decided to do there. Other features of the X-T30. It is of course charged by USB, which is kind of becoming a standard nowadays and something I'm very happy about. You don't have to worry about socket types when you go traveling. You simply plug this into a USB charger. It does take a bit longer than a traditional charging system where you would put the battery into a charger, but it saves you the pain of looking for that charger, and when you're traveling, the pain of wondering, will my charger even work? In terms of video, and this is where the X-T30 really is amazing. It shoots 4K video at 200 megabits per second. Now that's something that videographers love because that gives you a lot of information to work with after the fact when you want to post-process your video files. It has a number of different color profiles like log recording, which means you get sort of a very flat image, which you can then post-process in very creative ways. Filmmakers love this. They demand it, in fact, in order to realize their creative vision. I'm going to show you some video now that was shot in log format. I'll show you some that has that flat effect, and I'll show you some that also has a color grading applied to it after the fact. All in all, I have to say I am just wowed by the X-T30. This is a wonderful camera. It feels good in your hand. Yes, it's a little bit smaller than perhaps I would like, but nonetheless, it feels good in your hand. It does what you want it to do. It's intuitive to use. It looks amazing, I think you'll agree. There really is more features on the X-T30 than I could possibly explain to you in a short video like this. But trust me, go out, go to your local Best Buy, pick it up, look through the menus, look at all the things it can do. See how it feels in your hand. You are gonna fall in love with this camera, just like I did. I definitely have the warm fuzzies for the X-T30. This is Justin Morrison for Best Buy, and until next time, peace out.